Hello, everybody. Welcome along to another episode of the BTPA podcast here with me, Ben Calder. And today I have got a very exciting episode for you. So I've been speaking with Alexandra Maximovic, who is a Serbian physiotherapist with a PhD in biomechanics and kinesiology, a master's in public health, and has done so much specialist training. She has over 30 years of experience in integrative medicine and is the founder of the Alvita Plus School of Integrative Medicine in Belgrade, Serbia. And she is a specialist in non-invasive treatments of foot deformities, specifically the hallux valgus problems, those bunion problems that we get, and has a non-surgical method for dealing with all of those. And we're going to be speaking to her about her presentation at the Zagreb conference that's going to be in May 3rd, 24th, 2026, where she's going to be talking about the behavior of water molecules inside of fascia during bone treatments. We're going to talk about consciousness. We're going to talk about integrative medicine. We're going to talk about the walking school for girls that she developed and the importance of foot position and foot energetics and biomechanics. So a lot of incredible information through this. It was a really, really exciting interview to do, and I know you're going to love it. So before we get into that, remember, hit those like and subscribe buttons. Make sure that you're helping to spread the word of Bowen Technique. We really appreciate all your help in this. So let's get on with the interview with Alexandra. Hi, Alexandra. Thank you so much for joining me here today on the BTPA podcast. It's a real pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. For me, it's a big honor, really, and big privilege. Big privilege to be here and to express something what I know.
Really, the privilege is ours, and I'm very excited for this conversation, having been reading about your work in preparation for this interview. And I know that we're doing this as a promotion for the Zagreb conference, which is going to be on the 23rd and 24th of May next year, and the presentation that you're going to do there, but all the work that you've done to bring you to this place. Honestly, it's a very exciting opportunity for me to have a conversation with you. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you.
I know there are going to be a lot of people who have not come across your work. And once they, and again, there's going to be links to your website in the description below. And once people start to jump into there and see what you've done, they're going to be disappointed they didn't know about you before. But there's going to be lots of people that have not come across your work, especially in the UK and maybe over in the States. So I'd love you to just give us a little bit of a history of how you got to this point. What got you interested in the work in the first place, and what's brought you here over the last 30 years?
Yes. When you pronounce that 30 years, real, my God, it is so long period. But I have to admit, really, it was for me important because during all of these years, I learned so many things. I was in some deep kind of knowledges, and this shaped me, to be now like I am. And I have to say that I didn't want to be in the field of medicine when I started. But, that is a destiny, I have to say, because in 1997, I had some opportunity to go in Holland, Netherlands, and there I had some really very big opportunity to learn about reflexology, Reiki, many different manual techniques, and in this period, it was completely unusual, especially from someone from Serbia, because it was the first time that I was somewhere in some paranormal fair, where I can see aura photos or I don't know, many tarot, many astrology chart, everything on one place, And for me, this was like a miracle. Later we had the Harry Potter, And in that period, I just was wondering, my God, what kind of privilege I have to learn all of these things. And this was actually my start, the point from where I started in some path. And this path is continually now because I'm still on this path. And even I know many things, really, I have to go further. I have to go deeper. And I can say, like Socrates said, I know that I don't know nothing. I know so much, but I have to explore more.
Yeah.
When I will be ready, when I will be
that,
ready to not to speak nothing, I will know that I know everything. But in this way now I have so many to offer. So I'm not achieved on this level.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things I feel myself. I'm just coming up for 23 years in professional practice, and I used to feel in the early days like I knew a lot, and as time goes on, I feel like I understand differently, but the breadth of knowledge that's available to us is just incredible. And I think we're
Yes,
very fortunate in the time we're in, and the learning that's taking place, and the information we can get hold of.
of course. I would like just to say also one thing about this path, because I wanted to be artist. And of course, in my first environment, they were against and they said, no, no way, you cannot be that. And then I wanted to see, but what could be good for me because my soul was so sensitive, and I wanted to offer, to serve to the people. And then I understood, okay, this could be a medicine, but medicine only for the old people, really. And then
Mhm.
I thought, my God, maybe I'm not so well in my minds, but this actually guided me to go in a college for applied science and to be a physiotherapist. And from that started my adventure, actually, because really after that I started to work in some gerontology institute. I dedicated myself to some very, very severe conditions, like conditions after stroke, after endoprothesis, very, very difficult patients. And I have to say that thanks to them, I understood how much life is precious.
Mhm.
And you know what also was my one very, very deep insight? That these old people were also young and very nice, curious people. And I learned a lot from them. Really. And also I asked them, please, can you just allow me to try one new technique, what I just finished now? And I said to them, I don't know how it works really, just to explain to you, but I have to try on you if you just allow me. This is one little touch, maybe some few movements, what I will just make on your bodies, and that's it, nothing. And of course, from that started another challenge, because I applied, of course, Bowen technique on them. And it was so curious because for me, because I suspect in everything, I couldn't realize that this therapy will give so deep effects. And from that moment, maybe I started to realize that I have to trust more in this inherent intelligence inside of the body. And yes, from that moment, I started to believe more in all of these miracles inside of the body. From the other way, also that pushed me, to go deeper in the science.
Yeah,
And
amazing.
that was actually my started of some new road. I will tell you also something about the beginning of the Bowen, because in the moment when this came to Belgrade, it was 2008.
Mhm.
I was very inside of this physiotherapy. I thought that I'm very strong physiotherapist with very good, strong skills. I was very, very proud of my knowledge, and experience, of course. And thanks to one woman, she is a doctor, uh, she said to me, Alexandra, you have to try with some new course because I thought I listened about this. It is very interesting for you to try. Don't please refuse me immediately because it is only some gentle moves what we will apply on the body. And after these movements, people will be healthy. Really, for me was abnormal. I said, please, Dr. Mira, I really, I like you so much. I appreciate you so much. Really, she is a doctor of my son. And oh, how, for what? I don't know why to attend there. I don't see any kind of connection with me. And she said, no, you will see. You will discover that. And we were one group of 16 people, the first group in Belgrade. This was the first and second module. The instructor was Andrew Zappos. And for me, it was interesting, but still, I suspect too much. And in one moment, he just said to me, oh, Alexandra, do you have some problem? I said, yes, I have. And he said, yes, I can understand. You're a physiotherapist. But if you cannot accept this knowledge, please, you have your free choice. You can do what you want. And it was also one very good insight because I had to explore what he wanted to say actually to me. And after that, when I had some patients, my close friends, and they started to try, then they said to me, "Oh, we have some reactions. It is interesting. Some of them were calmer, some of them they relieve the pain, something, like all of this chain of reactions." And I started to believe. And then one module, the next level, to advanced modules. In the meanwhile, with a thousand and thousand of patients, what I have in my experience only with the Bowen, I
Hmm.
have to say the miracle technique. And thanks to God that I found myself in this area. Thanks to Zopus also that I had opportunity to learn from him. And thanks to myself also for my curiosity, really, especially to go further because with this my I have to say nature, I had to go further to see how it works really. And I have to say that during this period in 2008, there were not network like now Facebook, especially not IE. It was very difficult really to go deeper and to know what happens inside.
Hmm.
And I wanted to explore, to see from here, from here, from here. And you know what? In the meanwhile, I found my husband, who is a pure scientist, like a genetist, and thanks to him, I started to explore in this way. And also, I activated my brain, for this science and this knowledge. And thanks to that, really, I started with this master degree and later PhD to really to find answers.
Yeah,
And I
I
think
love
that I
that.
found, but I have to go further.
I mean, I really relate to that as well. I was kind of reflecting the other day with somebody that when I think back to the beginnings of my working journey in the late 90s and the early thousands, how we barely had the internet. We had to rely on the libraries, we had to rely on books, we had to rely on journals, and everything took time. We couldn't just get onto the internet and search a
Yes,
thousand possibilities within a few minutes. It was a very different process of learning. It seemed to take a lot longer, but I feel like I embedded things in a very different way at that point. And it was amazing, even from the very beginnings of being introduced to Bowen, how there was just something attractive about it, something magnetic about it that
yes,
was so it was almost like a mystery because it was like, how does so little do so much?
yes,
And although it took me a little while to get to a point where I was training with Bowen, I was receiving it for about 9 years or so before I managed to find the space to train. Because at that point, I was very much more committed into the kinesiology practice that I
yes.
do, which started out very much more as a bioenergetic model. So it
Mhm.
was much more looking at body energy through the meridians, much more looking at the psychological side of energetics in the body. And when I realized I was really missing that body work component in the way that Bowen offers, that was my mind just went, no, I really need to put this in there. And I know that you're a big advocate of integrative medicine. And so I'm curious to know, with all of these amazing techniques that you've explored and all of the knowledge that you've got, how do you interweave and combine? How do you kind of approach people when they come to you? What kind of leads that process for you?
It was interesting, because in a parallel, I started with the Bowen, like also with this integrative medicine. Integrative medicine, actually, it is a medicine of the consciousness or medicine of the spirit, maybe better to say. And this is really one very, very deep knowledge. And when I started with that, I was afraid. Will I be able, to continue with this, maybe to finish with this, maybe more? And because I know who were my teachers. And with them, it was not so much to speak. It was more to feel. And I was so curious, how they can feel what I think, how they can predict what will I do. And but in that moment, I was also with very strong self-confidence because I knew it's something what they didn't know, Bowen. And you know what happened, during these classes, and lessons, all of them, they had some problems. And I said, okay, and I will treat you with Bowen. And this was my connection with them. And then they were curious, to know what is really this Bowen, because they didn't know for this technique before. And my teachers are from France, Greece, Spain. And I felt myself as a missioner also, was my mission, to spread informations about this technique. And in this moment, I accepted knowledge from them, of course. I learned about what is really physical body, what are the subtle bodies, what is connection between physical body and subtle bodies. And then in this way, I also could insert Bowen because okay, we work, of course, as a manual technique and practitioners on the physical body. And we provoke many, of course, biochemical reactions inside of the body. But in some other way, when we look in some wider area, we can see that we are not just physical body. I combine techniques from Bowen with this integrative medicine. They were complementary. And my aim was to help person, to find again his goal, to find what is inner peace. With Bowen technique, we can do that, of course, with the several movements. But I have to explain to this person also, what is this now, what happens inside? Because only in this medical way, it is not enough, really. You can find that in internet. But if we speak in this energetic way, we have really to explain to people what we will do 7 days after Bowen. How to now deal with this new energy of calm inside of that. What is this energy? How we will express this energy to the others? What if I will be forever calmer now? Can I accept this? Because it is not easy, even maybe looks ridiculous, but it is not easy. Because we have to change now our identity. And this is something, what was for me interesting. I will provoke person, to be better person inside because will not be aggressive, for example, anymore. And then what else? We change the identity of this person. In energetic medicine, I know actually what I will do and what I've done. So in this way, I combine very easy energetic medicine with Bowen. If we speak about medicine of consciousness, what is actually this integrative medicine, then we have to explain to people what is really consciousness. If we want to put some problem in the light, it means that we will illuminate this problem. But what is luminescence? And what means really this light? And this is really miracle. And when you go inside of this inherent intelligence of the body, and you see again the miracle, but you have to explore and to go deeper, like in the mind, because really this knowledge needs really you to have a very, very strong intelligence and to have also time, what you will dedicate to this exploration. In this way, then I just understood, my God, I will need many lives, not one life to explore about this. Who we are from this side, to say that we know something, especially in medicine. Because now we see, from the other side, we have some quick medicine. We have some problem, we drink some remedy, and we just expect that we will be now so extra, mega healthy person because we drank so many supplements maybe, or we go to some extra devices, like in physiotherapy, we have now new technology devices, what will help you to reduce stress or to relieve pain. It is not like that. We know that. We just press one special light move on some specific point, and then we really provoke miracle inside. Deepest transformation only with some light move. And then how you to explain that? Before it was easy. But now it is not easy. It is not difficult. But from the other side, I have to say one thing also, because I'm also on networks on Facebook, Instagram. I follow, of course, many people. It is so popular now to speak about fascia. And wherever you go, everybody speak about fascia. We didn't know about fascia when we were on the faculty. It was only maybe one lesson about fascia. It is one tissue which surround the muscles, tendons, ligaments, nothing special. And now we speak about something as extraordinary tissue, what is really the fascia. And yes, I will dedicate my topic in this Congress in Zagreb because dear Ozana invited me to speak about the behavior of the molecule of the water inside the fascia during Bowen technique. And it is interesting because I was in some Congress in Italy where I spoke, and you cannot imagine. People were like that. Oh my God, what is this? What is this, Bowen? What is fascia? But important was that in the first, across me was one professor from biology in the Faculty of Bologna. And I noticed that this professor during this Congress, he was very calm, maybe also sleepy. And in one moment, when I started to speak about Bowen and about fascia and about molecule of the water and about 5 elements and about meridians, he just jumped like that. And he said, "Oh my God, you speak about some interesting topic." It was like a conversation between me and him. Even we had a big audience. And I said to him, yes, we just have to show to you what we found inside of this fascia, thanks to our researches, and thanks to him also. We had some projects, what we still didn't finish because it is really very difficult now. It's very even it looks maybe it is not, but it is difficult to go deeper inside of this knowledge of fascia. We have to speak about fascia in one way because we can discover about this tissue on the live person.
Mm,
It is a live tissue.
mm,
We cannot speak on the dead person
mm.
because then we don't speak about fascia. You understand?
Yeah.
And in this way, it is very difficult really to speak about knowledge about fascia. So you can find many different topics. Like this is a gentle tissue, connective tissue, which connected everything with everything. That has many layers or 3 layers. And in this way can nourish, support, eliminate toxins, reduce stress, relieve pain. Many different important things. What are really. But if we want really to explain how Bowen works on fascia, on this tissue, it is very deep science.
And I think we have to go through it layer by layer as well. My Zen teacher, Genpo Roshi, said many years ago that part of the reason why when we're doing his big mind work, which is a parts analysis work in Zen, that we're dissecting so that we can understand the whole, but we have to bring the whole back together and understand its interaction overall. And so I'm really glad to hear you speak about the consciousness element of it. Within the integral model that I use within medicine, one of the simple ways that we divide some of this is to just look at the subjective and the objective. So the
Yeah.
subjective not having a location in time and space, the objective having a location in time and space, something we can point to, but they can never be separated, and each one is enacting on
Yes.
the other. And I was fortunate in my kinesiology training that my teacher, Ann Parker, she would always talk about the fact that we have a choice about whether or not we initiate change from the most subtle levels, the most refined levels, and that will filter down through into the physical, or we initiate a change in the physical, and that can move through into the subtle. And the trick is working out which one is going to be the most effective for that person in that moment and working with those subtle energies. And even things like, we talk about fascia being this new discovery. And yet, in the early training within Life Force Qigong, the system that I teach, that my brother developed, that's evolved into his sea of awareness, the spiritual and energetic arts of awareness practices, which involve multidimensional work into human consciousness. We
Yeah.
got introduced to the fascia sinew channels, and these are ancient Chinese pathways that
Good.
work in concert with the meridians and with the energetics, and how you can influence, again, acupoints, very precise places to
Yes.
work with, but also you can influence them around more subtle tissue. So
Yeah.
it's really exciting that now we're starting to try and bring these worlds together, to demystify some of the language that was previously there, which I think inhibited science looking at it in a more practical way. And now we're starting to explore it because we're starting to find these bridges through the fascial work, through the meridian work, and understand its relevance in this total psychophysical human being that we're working with. And, I mean, one of the things that came for me when you were speaking is that there are so many clients that when we do work for them, sometimes they use this phrase that I now really watch out for, and they say, "I can't believe that this pain has gone away or that I can move again." And I immediately say to them, "You need to start believing that it can." Because if you reinforce the idea that this is something that is not possible, your body will go, okay, then it's
That's
not
not possible.
possible.
Yes.
And you'll change the
Yes.
form. And then they come back and say, well, I couldn't believe it got so better. And then it went away again. And it's like, of
Yes.
course, because you
Yes. Of course.
reinforce that idea.
You know what? I just wanted now to say, because I think 1 hour is not enough for our conversation, really. But okay, we will put it inside of 1 hour. But I have to say that 2 years ago, I started to write a book, and I finished my book. You have to know also that I wrote this book in English because I'm maybe better in writing than in speaking. But I also, thanks to my husband, translated that in Italian. So my book will be first edited in Italy. Why is important this book? Because actually I put everything what I know about Bowen, of course, but also other manual techniques. And I didn't say to you what is actually my passion. It is to work on the feet. And this is the area where I have to say that I am really specialist, because I wanted to explore what is actually our base. And we can convince that it is foot or feet. But in another way, people, they don't have big intention on the feet because they think, "Oh, it is not important. We will not die from the problems on the feet." But we cannot die, but we cannot walk if we have any kind of problem. Even one little pain, if we have in our feet, we cannot move nowhere. It means that we cannot make the good quality of our daily life in this way. So I just wondering, okay, I started in 1997 with reflexology. Then I learned, I don't know, billions of techniques, I have to say, really. But it is not that I am now crazy if I say like that. No, like a sujok, do you know what is sujok? This
I've heard of it, but
Korean,
tell us a little bit about it. Yeah.
it is some specific acupressure technique on the feet and on the hands, also on the ears, but not like reflexology. It is much deeper, more precise. When I combined this with reflexology, I really had amazing results. I treated people only through the feet. Later came in my life Bowen, this 2008. And then I just noticed, oh my God, in Bowen, I have only one procedure, maybe two procedures for the feet. What will I do now? But then I recognize, okay, if I have a healthy foot, I will have a very good posture. If I don't have a good posture, then I will have problem with the feet. Then started, this combination and to explore, what happens if we do this. And then from this moment, I started to be expert in biomechanic also, because we have to look on the body and as a one big chain, that all of these particles, if are not in a function, we will have a problem. So if we have a little bit some distortion of the foot, we will have a problem with the whole body. And of course, in Bowen, we understood that through all of these procedures, how we work on TMG, to improve the position of the pelvis, and how pelvis will make influence on the feet, And all of these things were, for me, very important during the teaching and learning about of Bowen. But later, when I thought, what will be in some period when I will not learn, and is it maybe good if I can teach people? But to teach people, I have one institution, which will support me now. It is not easy. But then I said, okay, I can write a book. This could be maybe a shortcut. And in this book actually is all of the knowledge what I had and I have. And it means that I combine really all of these techniques. And I made this book for the general public. It is not only for the medical practitioners. It is also for the people who would like to know a little bit more about medicine, maybe a little bit about Chinese medicine, maybe about bovine, maybe about fascia. You can see everything inside. Also, I dedicated one part, for the history of medicine. This is this first part of my life when I wanted to be artist. Actually, I wanted to learn a history of art. And then I said, okay, I will put in my book. And then in these first chapters is actually a history of the medicine dedicated to the foot. So you will see how they behave in ancient Egypt, in ancient India, especially in India. My God, how far they were inside of this knowledge. It's really amazing. And of course, later, through Socrates, Hippocrates, Renaissance period also, and until now. And like my husband said to me, Alexandra, this book is your fifth symphony. I really think like that because really I put everything, and especially about fascia, because I have to say, 2 years ago, we didn't have so big knowledge about fascia.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 2 years later, you can find everything and you can go really deep inside of that. And in the meanwhile, of course, I finished this PhD in this area of fascia. And I remember when my tutor, I have to say, when he asked me, my God, why you choose this topic? This is completely unknown field and we will maybe have some problems. I said, no, it is me, Alexandra. I'm a pioneer. I have to open the door, for some new knowledges. And this is one kind of that. And when I finished PhD, he said to me, I understood now what you wanted. You want to leave this to the next generations. I said, yes. This is something what I actually want to do. Because maybe I will not have opportunity to teach people, but I will express this knowledge, through my book, through some shorter courses, maybe through some presentation, through some conferences, like this will be in Zagreb, because it is important to express knowledge, especially from people like I am. I have to say, because really I involve in myself too many courses, seminars, masters, finally PhD, and I want to go another one of PhD. I will tell you that later, because really it is something what push you. It is not something what I have to say, no, yes, I sleep with this idea that I have to catch more knowledge. No, if you ask me normally, I don't want. But from some inner side, I have this push. You have to go further. You have to see what is actually this, because you have to finish the circle.
Mm.
How else? Because really, when I wanted to know what is actually fascia and how this pressure will make so deep changes inside of the body, it was interesting, You can be somewhere and to say, yes, this is some gentle technique with some specific light moves, what will produce very deep transformation inside of the body. But what actually this means? And then you have the second answer. It will provoke some relief of pain. It will make balance of this autonomous nervous system. Then, okay, it is okay. But what actually this means? This will produce some specific hormones like endorphin, oxytocin, dopamine, Sorry, because of my accent, it is a Serbian accent now. And in this way, I just thought, okay, it is interesting. But also we are on some level, what is not enough. I want to know what really happens. What is this miracle inside? I'm Scorpio. I cannot just accept something what is some little, and light knowledge. I have to go deeper, like all of the Scorpions. And then I said, okay, I have to see what really this means. And I have to mention my husband. He said, okay, I have to help you. You know that we have, because he is a biologist, microbiologist also, and genetist, and he could give me some answers. But then I understood that he's too much complex. Who will understand you? I asked him. Only your students, who are maybe dedicated to some expressions of the genes. I don't want this kind of knowledge. I want to go in some realistic, what will be how can I say, easy to understand the real path, because I just think that real knowledge means that you have to express it in a simple way.
Mhm.
If you have real knowledge, then you will know how to make a schedule, and then you will make some cascades of the knowledge, informations. And then I started little by little, little by little. And then I discovered that I can achieve to some level. And I was so happy to say to him until which level I now am. And he asked me, okay, and now? And now I need your help. Because when I understood, about this, do you know for Romanian scientist Popescu?
I don't, not offhand, no.
You see, I will explain that more in the Congress, in the conference in Zagreb. But for the curiosity, he was a Romanian scientist who actually found some specific cells, telocytes. And from this begin as a special story about Boban, about
Mhm.
fascia. Thanks to this knowledge, we can go further and deeper to understand what really is alchemistry inside. We'll not speak about biochemistry because it means that we have to, of course, know all of these substances, molecules, proteins, enzymes, all of these important facts inside, of course. But we have also to know, before how to combine all of this knowledge. This is more important than only this alchemistry or biochemistry inside. So I think that thanks to the knowledge of integrative medicine, I could understand better.
Hmm.
Because that also brings me, to the theory, what is inside of the body, dark or the light? Hmm? If we have some micro camera, inside, could we look inside what really happens? And could we be afraid of this, what is inside? Because I think that we could, because this kind of intelligence, what is so strictly organized, will put us, in a not so big self-confidence. We can say, my God, sorry, I didn't know what kind of intelligence I have inside. I rather to believe in AI, but I don't want to go inside of my body to learn about all of these functions inside. How is everything precisely connected and organized? There is no coincidence inside. It is not empty space. It is not some dark hole, inside. It is some specific intelligence where we have to go deeper. Maybe we cannot understand by the brain, but we can feel. And we have to learn how to feel our body inside and to listen, to include this inner body, inner intelligence, and to say, sorry, please, because I didn't respect you before. I would like now to start, if you allow me. And this will be the start connection between this outside Alexandra and inside Alexandra, when my cells will start to communicate among themselves, and when I will start really to understand what are the messages inside of my body. This is something what we ask from our patients when we made the above treatment. Please write your reactions. We would like to know what really you had in these 7 days.
Mm.
How much body is really in need to react on these messages, what we send and what we provoke, actually. But are we able to listen ourselves?
Mm.
Are we able to listen what our body says to us? This is the aim of the integrative medicine. And in
Mm.
this way, again, I will say this is connection.
Mhm.
What means, to produce biophotons inside of the body? You know that.
Yeah, yeah. I've looked at the work of Fritz Albert Pops, and we look at this within the epigenetics work that we do in the signaling through the cells from light. And even the research that shows that in a vacuum, you can take light photons and put DNA strands in there and they reorder the light.
You
So it's
see,
amazing, beautiful work.
my hair will start to be like that because of electricity, but positive electricity, really, because
Mhm.
my husband asked me, my God, I see in you pure scientist. I said, no, I have to combine everything. For me, I need one alchemic lab, where will I explore? Because it is not enough only one lab, chemical lab, we have to combine all of these things
Hmm.
and really to see how boven will increase the number of biophotons inside of the body. And then we are light beings, not animal, just and anymore just some physical beings. This is a situation when somebody say to you, really how light you are. You have some light from you. You express, some special. You radiate some light, and I think this is the really some effect of boven
Hmm.
from the other way, because people they don't know, they don't have to know about biophotons. They came to us because they have some pain, they have some stiff neck, they have problems after stroke. Can you imagine this condition? As a physiotherapist, you do so many moves, you have to make some better mobility, of the joints and everything. And then I know what was my experience first time when I applied boven to the patient after stroke, really, because they look me like that, like I'm not normal, My God, there were so special persons, doctors, and then I came with these few moves, on the body, and just I said to them, now you will feel some completely change inside of your body. You will feel relaxed. You will feel lighter yourself. And they said, my God, who is this person? What she speaks? But later, after 7 days, they changed their opinion.
Hmm.
Yes. And also me, I changed opinion because I said, my God, it works. I have to be very careful with this because really, if it works always like that, who knows what will happen?
Mm.
And then another problem. It was not always like that, because, in Boven you have this wee-hoo. And then sometimes we can expect some good reactions, some bad reactions. And that was the first time that I faced with aggravation.
Hmm.
My God, what is aggravation? You have to be strong really to face with this, because patient when will come with these problems to say, my God, I came here because I had pain. Now I have bigger pain than before. My God, I have again to go in the science, to explore what happens inside of the body. Why? Why? We didn't know about this strong aggravation. But then I understood this is so good to say to them, don't worry, these are only reactions.
Hmm.
Be calm with that, it will pass. Be happy because your body will treat itself. Everything will be good, there are no side effects. It will just be a process of restoring your balance. And this is something what I had to accept, because in this applied medicine what I had before, we didn't have that
Hmm.
really. And for me it was a new challenge. I had a little bit difficulties to accept that in the first moment, but then later I said, okay, who I am to dare to suspect? Tom Bowen was a genius. Really, he gave to us some miracle knowledge, really miracle knowledge. And I had to accept this is the main technique what I apply now to my clients, and
Hmm.
others I can just join. Yes. But really, I dedicate myself to Bowen. And I have to say that I feel myself like a privileged person.
Mm.
That
I mean,
I
there's
can do
so
this.
much valuable stuff inside of this as well. So in Chinese medicine, in our Qigong, we talk about people having Shen. We talk about that spirit that radiates, and you can see that vitality, that elan vital that is expressing from somebody when they're in alignment. And
Yeah.
like a lot of people don't realize that when I'm doing these interviews with people, I'm actually at a standing desk, and
Yes.
in Qigong, we have a primary practice of Zhamzhong, of standing like a tree. And the founder of System Life Force Qigong, my brother Sai, he often reflects on the idea of how can we even begin to move if we don't know what it's like to be still. And in standing, we explore this relationship with our bodies about how it is to stand. And it's only when you pause for periods of time and you start to notice that, well, this place comes into tension, that place feels numb, I can feel a pain there, that's tingling. And you can have this relationship with the self of, where am I not even in alignment? Where am I not even allowing the flow of energy?
Yeah.
And when we master this technique, there's this natural radiance of energy that just spirals up through the ground. And
Yes,
I
yes,
had a
yes.
really beautiful experience over the summer. A lot of the listeners know I work at a lot of festivals over the summer because I like basically taking my clinic out into a field and hanging out with lots of people and
Yeah.
exploring it. And we had such glorious weather this year. I spent nearly every day at my festivals barefoot. Now, normally in the evenings when the
Great.
temperature drops, I would want to put something on my feet for insulation. And what I did instead was just put a warmer jacket on and stayed barefoot. And I noticed every time I stopped to stand, whether we were having conversations or listening to something, I would immediately go into what we call Wu Qi, go into our standing primary practice, and the floor underneath my feet would be hot
Yes,
because the energy is radiating up. My system feels good, my kidneys feel good, my back feels good. And I promote Bowen
yes,
as a self-treatment of Qigong as a self-treatment technique for Bowen practitioners. If you
yes,
learn to listen inside, you can make some of these adjustments within yourself. And we also have things like the work of Alistair McLaughlin. So with his art of body work, he does more movements for the feet and ankles. With his MSTR, his scar work, using protocols for things like plantar fasciitis that allow the feet to open and shift position. And so there's so much value in looking at these approaches. And I'm curious as well, because I know that this passion for you with feet, and again, my kind of
yes,
interest now wants
yes,
to jump into the book, but you've also started a walking school for girls, haven't you?
yes. It is
And I'm
interesting.
really curious about what that is and why girls as opposed to boys, and what you find the difference in those biomechanics as.
You know what? It is something what is in a project. It means that we have to maybe provide that in the future, because until now we just made this as experimental school. I have to say, we started with the girls 6, 8, 9, 10 years, because they all want to be princess, and they would like to have these beautiful dresses, and of course to walk on the high heels.
Sure.
You understand? We have
Yeah.
the situation here, like I'm sure that is everywhere in the world, that women they have bunions, with what is actually my special area, what I treat with non-surgical treatments. But they have the first problem where they have this matura, after the primary school, and they have to dress well and to start to wear these high heels. They don't know how to walk.
Mm.
Aim of this our school is to start to learn them when they are younger, but with the heel, 4 centimeters, because we want to learn them how to walk to be safe. That is the
Mhm.
first, not to lose their balance, to be completely with the self-confidence during this walk, to have the straight back, the very good posture, and to really show to all of us that they will not fall down in these high
Mhm.
heels. And you have to know that these girls are perfect, completely perfect. They understood so well and clear what we ask from them. And from the other side, their response is beautiful, because really they show. And then during these their movements, you can see really all of the movements during the gait, because that people, they don't know how to walk.
Mhm.
And we have to learn them about the basic gait. We would like to, of course, have this school, but it is not easy, to organize everything in the life like we want. But I was in one congress in London. And what happened there? When I wanted to express knowledge about hallux valgus and banyons, what I actually treat here in Serbia, my colleagues, they couldn't understand me why I chose this topic. Some of them, they laughed. They said to me, "Why you choose this? How is this connected with physiotherapy?" And then I said, "I don't know. Please stay and wait me." I will express this, what I have to say, but maybe you will find connection. And it was interesting, because was one colleague from the Kuwait, and before he was after me. First, I spoke about hallux valgus, panions, how this will, how can I say, destroy posture. And after me, he was there to speak about gait. And I said to him, do you see now what is connection? Can you think how many people in Kuwait have a problem with the bunions
Mm.
and pain in bunions, or I don't know if they are big, they cannot wear normal shoes? How
Mhm.
this will make influence on the gait? And you know that if they have irregular gait, it will completely destroy the posture. They will have pain everywhere. It will destroy fascia, actually. And then if you have this stiff fascia, then you will have pain everywhere. And then just think a little bit about fit. And one little banyan, what will start to produce. Our aim is to teach people, what to do to prevent not to have bunions.
Mhm.
If they have bunions, not to run to the surgery.
Mhm.
They have to listen some other people who will maybe offer to them some another treatments, like a bovine treatments. But I have to say, with the bunions, I don't do only a bovine. I have to combine many different things.
Mhm.
And this is something what give really the very, very good results. Because I have to tell you, before I thought, should I say to you hundreds or thousands patients? But I have to say thousands. So, because I started that very, very long time ago.
Mhm.
And really we have very, very good results. And this is the way how it works inside. When I started with bovine, okay, to start to learn, it was one thing. But to apply bovine was another thing. And when I was in this one very, very big private clinic in Belgrade with some woman who was very, very serious, and she asked me what you can offer. And I said, I will offer to you, my knowledge inside of this, and it mentioned also bovine. And she said, okay, I don't know nothing about this, but in which fields you think that you are good? And then I have to list it, what I did until now, all of the pathologies. And then I mentioned bunions. And she said, bunions? It could be interesting because people, they don't know nothing about this. They have problem. First, I have a problem with the bunions. How you will resolve this problem? And then I said, and that she put me in some situation for me was very, very, very problematic, because
Mhm.
it was a big clinic. I had 8 patients in 1 hour.
Wow.
8 patients. You can imagine, to work with eight patients in 1 hour, to run, and one day you are there 8 hours, and then count, please, how many people. And then it was not always like that, but it was often.
Mm.
And then I have to say that really, when asked me, do you have some experience in bovine? My God, I don't know. Of course that I have, of course, because I tried many different procedures. I tried on ill people, on health people, on children, on many, many different, of course, range of people. And after all of this, I think that I can dare to say that, yes, I know that this technique can resolve pain without side effects. And I'm sure in this what I'm speaking.
Mhm.
And nobody can say to me nothing about that, because I'm rather to die, for the truth. And I think in this is very big truth. Yes. Bowen is real technique which can release the pain. And this is the amazing thing. About all other things, we can think about that. But this is the most important. And tell me another technique where you can really relieve pain after the first treatment. There is
Mhm.
no. Or it will return very fast.
Mhm.
Here, no. Later, also one thing, my son, because when I started to learn Bowen, he was 4 or 5 years maybe old. And whenever he had some friend who has some pain or problem, he said to him, come to my mother, she will make a Bowen to you. Of course, he didn't know nothing about Bowen, except that Bowen is something what it works. What works.
Mhm.
And then also my other little nephews, they knew it, that their aunt will always resolve problem with the Bowen.
Mhm.
They didn't they didn't use some remedies, Even one of them, he had one terrible reaction, once when I treated him after the very high temperature. He had some very, very strong flu. And he was also in the hospital. And they returned him to the home. And I remember when my brother asked me, "Can you please try this your boven? We don't have nothing to lose." I said, "Okay." I didn't like this tone of the voice, but okay. And when you are fighter for the truth, then you have to accept everything. And then I said, okay, of course that I will treat him. And what happened, I treated him, with several movements. And this boy vomited after that. He just went to sleep all the night, all the day, all the night. They saw that he is alive, of course, because he was breathing.
Mhm.
But they didn't know what to do. I said, let him to sleep. And after that, he was completely new boy. And of course that it was a one deep reset of his body, but completely changed person after that. From the first, it was one virus who changed him inside. From the other side was his inherent intelligence, which treated him in the best way through Bowen. So for me, that was amazing, And what else to ask? From here, we have medicine of the consciousness. We have something what we have to use always in our daily life, to increase light inside of ourselves, to completely rise in the spaces of the light. And from the other side, just to enjoy all of this what we have, because really these are the gifts what we have. I didn't say also that maybe I don't have maybe time, or I don't know do we have time, but I just have to say that in one period of my life, I was a teacher, instructor of the martial art from Indonesia, Satria Nusantara. This is the art of breathing. And when you said Qigong, it is in this kind of martial art similar, but not the same, of course, because it's from Indonesia. And I started to go inside of that because I had some health problems. It was before when I didn't know about Bowen before. And I had problems, difficulties with the breathing. In this moment, when I started to learn from this sensei, he didn't look on me. He didn't notice that I exist, of course, like other people. There are 40 people inside of the group. And we just had to be in some specific, very difficult positions of the body. This is the first. The second, we had to learn how to breathe. He had some completely different knowledge. And it means, of course, that all our attention has to be in our lower abdomen to concentrate on this deep inhale, then to learn about apnea, and to be in this apnea. Is it good in English? How you say apnea in English? Apnea is when you don't breathe.
Okay. Yeah. Apnea.
Apnea. Okay. And in this condition, it will not be like 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it is a longer. And then will you continue to live or not? And then in one moment, he will just say 2. It means to exhale, And I said to myself, my God, how I found this kind of teacher really? Why I didn't go to some easier techniques? And you know what? This was the only introduction, with this kind of breathing. Then we had with this apnea to make exercises. Exercises were very difficult also, of course, because you don't know what is left, what is right. He do that fast. I didn't know where are my legs, where are my arms, where is my head, not to breathe in the same moment, Terrible, really terrible. But I said to myself, okay, you started, you will finish with this. So it means 12 days I have to be inside of that. You know that after maybe fourth day, yes, I felt inside of me some changing. First, I didn't have this fog inside of me. This was the first reaction. And later I understood that I have a better orientation in the space. And of course, we finished all of this. I was grateful, really, that I had opportunity to try this, to finish with this. And he said, but this is not enough. Now we will check your energetic potential. Did you were successful in this or not? And through that, he can see if you are really good, because through that, he can also check, maybe you can go to next level.
Mhm.
Because I didn't know in that moment, this is only the basic level. After that, you have 10 levels more.
Always.
Always, always. And you know what? He said, now we will check your energetic potential through some uh, experiments. And one of that experiment was interesting. But you know what? You have to know this was the first group in Indonesia, in Serbia, through Indonesian embassy. It means that there was also ambassador, attaché for the culture, many different people, and they recorded everything. And he said, now we will make one experiment with the lamp. You will put one lamp in your left hand, and with the other, you will just learn how to do this breathing, inhale, apnea, and exhale, and then you will just put that, pull down that lamp, it has to break or to stay in condition like before. And of course, 39 people, they did that. All of them, they break immediately that. But it was not the aim. Aim was to be a whole lamp, And I said to myself, no, I will not try that. For what? To be one of them? No, I don't want this to try. And he said, oh, you didn't try. Come here. I said, no, I don't want. He said, you are in obligation to do it. It's not you want or you don't want. And I tried to take this. I did like he said, of course, I pulled down. And what happened? It was not break. And of course, silence inside of the group. We were outside. This exercise we have to do without shoes.
Yeah.
Completely with that. And he looked me, he didn't have nothing as expression, smile, oh, finally some successful student. No, he just said, okay, now you will take this lamp. Now you will take out this energy from the lamp. Now when you pull down, it has to break. Okay, I will do that. I do it again. Again, didn't break. He said a third time, again. I do like that. He didn't break. My God, what now? I said, what means this? It means that my energy is blocked inside of this lamp. What will I do now? I was completely crazy, really. I didn't trust to him. And he said without expression, do like I said to you, take this from this lamp, pull down and it will break. Okay, I did it the fourth time and it broke. And inside of this group, they looked me, like I'm an alien. How is possible that to happen? After that, I started to learn from him actually about many, many, many different techniques also. And this is a value now of my skill. When I combine all of these knowledges inside, really, after that, I started to be a teacher of Satya Nusantara.
Hmm.
And now I have hero groups. I will be happy once really to come to London and to show you how it works, because really this is amazing knowledge. And as I know, I think that in Europe there are only several teachers of Satya Nusantara, because it is a very, very rare knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very rare. And I'm proud I'm one of them. And always when is now new tour of staff in embassy, like is now, maybe now we will start again with the new ambassador of Envive, to start again with the promotion of Satya Nusantara. Because how they call Satya Nusantara? To increase inner power.
Mm-hmm.
This is this light, and an energetical value what we have inside of us.
Beautiful. I love it. Alexandra, thank you. It's an absolute delight listening to you. It's so amazing for me as an integral practitioner to listen to somebody else who also has tasted all of these flavors and understands how to combine them into the most delicious of recipes that just add that vitality, that life, that healing, that health back into people's bodies. And I know absolutely that in the Zagreb conference in May next year, people are going to have an absolutely amazing experience coming and listening to you. And I hope that they've got a little bit of a flavor about what it is they're going to get to experience there.
Thank you
Now,
for that.
we've been speaking now for over an hour, so I've just got one easy question left. If people would like to learn more about you, where should we send them? And we'll stick some links down in the description.
Yes, yes, I will be happy to explore about our site, alvitaplus.rs. And yes, they can always call us to write messages on WhatsApp or on maybe on our email. I will be very, very honored, really.
Thank you so much. And we'll
Thank
make
you.
sure there are links for those in the descriptions. For everybody else that's been listening today as well, thank you very much for your time and attention. That's really appreciated with us. The BTPA are dedicated to trying to promote Bowen and its benefits in the world. So you listening, you sharing this, and if you hit those like and subscribe buttons, we can help get this amazing therapy out into the world, help to share the work of amazing people like Alexandra out into the world so that we live happier, healthier lives with more energy, more vitality. So, Alexandra, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an
Thank
absolute
you
pleasure.
so much.
Know that we are going to have more conversations about all of this in the future, and
I
I
would like.
already look forward to those.
Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Look after yourselves. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.